What's the biggest promise your parents broke? My mom and dad divorced when I was 12. Pretty standard stuff. They just grew apart. They managed to keep things civil, which I'm grateful for. I'd stay with mom during the week and dad every other weekend at his apartment across town. Dad was always the more easygoing parent. We'd watch movies together, go thrift shopping, or he'd take me to concerts for bands he thought I should know about. Mom was more structured, made sure I did my homework, ate vegetables, and had a reasonable bedtime. When I was 15, dad started dating Karen. She seemed nice enough and had a son named Tyler who was a few years younger than me. We didn't really connect, but we weren't enemies either. As dad and Karen got more serious, I noticed our weekends changing. Instead of our usual father-daughter stuff, we'd end up doing what Tyler wanted to do, usually going to his soccer games or family-friendly restaurants he liked. I tried not to mind. Dad seemed happy, and I wanted that for him. The summer before my junior year, dad told me he and Karen were moving in together. They found a place nearby that was bigger than dad's apartment, but still in our same neighborhood. "This will be great," he said. "You'll still have your own space when you visit, and we'll be close enough that we can keep our regular schedule. Nothing's going to change between us." I took him at his word. The first month at the new place was fine, though it felt weird having my room right next to Tyler's. Even though dad had promised I'd have my own space, I could hear Tyler's video games through the wall every weekend I stayed over. Then the weekends started getting complicated. Soccer tournaments, family reunions, house projects. When I did visit dad, it felt less like our time and more like I was visiting their family. One Saturday, I overheard Karen telling dad, "Tyler feels left out when it's just you and Emma doing things." After that, even our quick trips to the record store turned into group activities. I started making excuses to stay home some weekends. Dad would sound disappointed, but never pushed too hard. I thought maybe he was relieved. The real breaking point came during my dance recital. I'd made it into the advanced company junior year, which was a big deal for me. My first performance, dad promised he'd be there. "Wouldn't miss it for the world, sweetie," he said. "Karen and Tyler are coming too." Recital night arrived. Mom was there with her boyfriend. I kept peeking through the curtain during warm-ups, but no sign of dad. We were halfway through the show when I checked my phone during intermission. A text from dad. "Sorry, Emma. Tyler has a bad cold and Karen doesn't want to leave him alone. Catch the next one for sure. Good luck." It was just a high school dance recital, not graduation or anything life-changing. But something about that moment made everything clear. I wasn't the priority anymore, not even for a couple hours. I messed up a few steps in the second half. The performance still went well overall, but I barely noticed the applause. That night I texted dad, "It's okay. Hope Tyler feels better." The thing is, I wasn't even mad, just sad. And I think that's what made it harder. There was no one to blame. Dad wasn't a bad person. He hadn't abandoned me or been cruel. He just made a new life where I was a part-time visitor rather than a core member. We still see each other, though less frequently now that I'm in college. He helped move me into my dorm and calls regularly. He and Karen got married last year. Tyler seems like a decent kid. Dad never meant to break his promise about our relationship staying the same. He probably didn't even realize he had. But some promises break slowly, one missed weekend and dance recital at a time, until what you're left with is something completely different than what was promised.